it's been really, really windy at my house the last couple of days. And so I thought that I would talk to you about the wind today. And I would share some video with you of the wind at my house and some different times that I've seen the wind here the last couple of days. God is kind of like the wind. We cannot see God. He doesn't have a face or a body that we see here on earth. We just see the effects of God. And so God is a lot like the wind. I can't take a picture of the wind or show you the wind, but I can show you the effects of wind. I can show you that the trees are blowing, or you can hear the wind chime in the background. So I can show you the effects of the wind, but I cannot show you actual wind. And so that is a wonderful way for us to think of God. We can't see Him, but we can clearly see the effects of Him all around us. Anytime that our hearts show love, that is the effect of God, because the only way that we know how to love is because He first loved us. And so when we are kind to someone, when they're not kind to us, when they're nasty or ugly to us and we're kind to them, that's a God sighting. And so I want you to think about ways that you can see God without actually seeing Him physically in a body. What are God sightings that you see? Just like we have sightings of the wind, we see the effects of the wind right now. My hair is blowing, the trees are blowing, my swing is blowing in the breeze, my hammock is, my pillows on the front porch have been strewn across the porch. So I want you to think about the effects of God, how you see Him at work in your life and in your home and in the lives of others, and let that be a reassurance to you. Everyone has felt the wind before. You can see the effects of the wind in this experiment by watching the balloon fill with air and then deflate. To recreate this activity, you will need a bowl of very warm or hot water, an empty water bottle with a balloon on top. Once you've trapped the air inside the empty water bottle and place it into the warm liquid, the air inside will heat up, causing the balloon to inflate. Believing in God is something that we do by faith. It's not something that we do by sight, by what we see with our eyes, but it's what we know with our heart. Then I want you to think about in the very beginning when God decided that He did not want to be alone in His creation. He created the animals, and then He created man to be in a relationship with Him, and that first man's name was Adam. And when He created him from the dust of the earth, He breathed His breath of life into him. And I imagine that being like a big, mighty breath of wind or air. And so when He breathed life into Adam, and then Adam had children, and those children had children, and on and on and on and on for generations and generations until it reached me and it reached you. And so you take a deep breath and you feel your chest fill up with air. You do not see the breath that's in your lungs, but you believe and you know it's there because you feel the effects. You're alive. You're living. You can feel your lungs fill up with air, and you can feel your body release that air. And that air is the breath of life. And we can trace that all the way back to our Father, the Creator God. And so just because you can't see God, you can still believe in him and you can see the effects of him. Just like you cannot see the wind, but you can see the effects of the wind and you can feel the effects of the wind. And so I pray that this week you will look for God sightings all around you. Someone that maybe their heart is changing to be a little kinder, or maybe it's you. Maybe you're striving to do more of the right things. So let's look for God sightings, and every time we see the wind, I want us to think about God, our Creator, and think about how even though we can't see him, he's right here with us. And you know, it's a lot easier for us to think about him during the hard times. When the wind's blowing really hard, we tend to focus on God a little bit more. But he's there even in the peace. He was there even when he said, "Peace, be still," and the waters calmed and the wind stopped. He was still there and was just as present as in the stormy windiness. So let's try to remember that and know that he's always there, just like the air around us and just like the air in our lungs. And now we will show you how to make a homemade kite using items in your home. You're going to start off by using a piece of construction paper, some fabric, an old gift bag, or even a plastic tablecloth will work nicely to cut your kite shape pattern out of. You'll just make a diamond shape. Next, you'll find sticks in the yard, or you can use barbecue skewers or drinking straws to make a cross on the back of your kite that you will attach with thick duct tape or other tape that you may have around the house. Here you see that I have used some gift wrap ribbon with a stick in the holes to make my handles. You can also use a stick and just tape yarn, rope, or ribbon to the end of the stick and wind it up onto the stick. Remember, the lighter the materials you use, the better your kite will fly. Maybe your family can look up the word wind in your Bibles today. The word wind is found 113 times in 28 different books of the Bible. Did you know that God sent a wind to stop the waters of the flood in the book of Genesis? He also sent a wind during the plagues in the book of Exodus to carry the locusts to the Red Sea. And in the book of Numbers, when the Israelites were hungry and asking for meat, it was a wind that he sent the quail to them in. There are lots of references in the Bible using the word wind. See if you and your family can find some of them today. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.